This week we had a very strange weather pattern come through the area. The temperature dropped 30 degrees Celsius, 54 degrees Fahrenheit for our American friends, in less than 24 hours. We received a weather statement warning about heavy winds, freezing rain, and flash freezing. When we came out in the morning, we found our gazebo facing down on the riverbank, 3 barrels missing. The furniture had slid to the front up against the screen, and the furniture and one corner of the dock were underwater. We were really disappointed. A lot of time and effort went into this project and we weren't sure to the extent of the damage or whether we'd be able to recover it. After the initial shock, we had to give ourselves time to think and digest the overall problem that we were facing so that we could break it down into smaller issues that we could tackle one at a time. First, we had to retrieve the barrels from downstream. We were lucky they hadn't gotten too far, but with the wind and the rapidly dropping temperature, it wasn't super fun. We initially tried lifting one corner of the gazebo with the furniture still inside, but it quickly became clear it had to come out first. None of this was going to happen during the storm that was still raging, so we had to accept that the gazebo and the furniture were going to freeze into the river for a few days. Even if the weather had been cooperating, we were going to need to pick up a few things to aid in disaster recovery. In the meantime, we brought the 3 barrels inside to warm them and soften the plastic to re-inflate them with our air compressor. The rest was going to have to wait for calmer weather and a solid plan.
We're just going on our initial recon mission of the disaster behind us. Got our fancy new hip waders, reasonably priced on Amazon. Pretty happy with these.
Yeah. Best part of this whole thing, being the disaster that it is that we get hip waders, because I've always wanted hip waders.
Yeah, I can try some fishing down in the water, wade in and that. Fun. But at any rate, yeah, we just want to, Kim already got some drone shots, but we just want to get close up, just see where things are at. Some of the barrels are still back there, they're looking precariously, just hanging on. I don't think any of them are actually supporting anything, but that's what we want to figure out, and we're just going to take this in stages. So first step, just assess what's going on. We already have some ideas for improvement. Not to get too much into detail, just one of the things is I built these little kind of curved pieces that will attach to the joists so that when we get the barrels back up underneath, they'll all the weight will be distributed evenly across the surface of the barrel, whereas previously having it just straight across, and I just have no experience with this, too much pressure, like too much weight all on one point on the barrel, and it kind of squashed them a bit. So we brought them inside, warmed them up, reinflated them with the compressor, and now we're going to basically reassemble the base of the dock and the barrels in a way that's a little more robust, less precarioso.
Yeah. And once we get that done, we're going to have to figure it out one step at a time, like Al said, because we really don't know what we're dealing with yet, but we know the initial solutions. So
yeah, I would say the biggest problem that we have is getting the barrels under the front end, because once the back is back on the water, the front without barrels underneath isn't going to want to float, so we're going to have to raise that, maybe with a great big giant pry bar, something. But those, like the two tricky parts of this, at least that nothing jumps into my mind as an absolute slam dunk, is A, to make sure that we can right size the gazebo without damaging the frame. It's a very lightweight cedar frame, but should be able to do that. And then the other thing is, once that's done, like I say, how do we pry up the one end high enough so that we can get underneath with the barrels and the little pieces to brace it. But yeah, like Kim said, just one step at a time.
But yeah, we're excited to use our new hip waders.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
You tell me you're scared. You tell me you're weak, but I know you're stronger than what you think. And I know it's hard. Yeah, I know it's rough, but we'll make it through. Wherever you're going, I'm going to. I'll follow you through the black and the blue. Whatever the mountain, we'll climb to the next. Honey, I'm with you through life and to death. You're afraid. I wish you could see that.
It's really fun when it's difficult to stick it in there.
Baby.
What?
Do you need more of these too?
Yeah, just yeah, it's good to do it in chunks because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold in the leg sauce.
I think you're brave, and if it all falls, if it all breaks, I'll still be here. We'll fix these mistakes.
Oh, hey folks, just a quick little update on our incremental progress on our dock-based nightmare. We weren't able to take footage today. The wind is pretty heavy, and not really a good place for us to get the camera set up to take a good shot. So just walk you quickly through it. Today was probably the easier of the work ahead of us with the part of the dock that's sticking up out of the water. The other day we put in all the blocking and the curved pieces to support the barrels, and then today was just simply me and Kim wading in with the ladder again. Kim holding the barrel in place while I lashed each one in with those eye bolts and poly rope. That part pretty straightforward, pretty happy with the result. By kind of tourniqueting the barrels into place, they're nice and snug. They're not going anywhere anymore. Now it's just figuring out how to get that front end with just the one barrel limping on the one side, getting that propped up, at least 3/4 foot off the water, so that we have clearance to do the same work at the front and get those barrels slipped underneath as well. Finish it all up. Easy peasy. I understand how this will lift, right?
Yeah.
And this one won't. Yeah, this doesn't work at all.
Okay.
You put it back down. So the idea is, if we can get it wedged so that it's at least at a 45,
Yeah.
then you can use a shorter board to push from the top,
Yeah.
and we use a tractor or the come-along strap to pull from the bottom and try and zoop, right? At least to get it back on its back barrels to the point where we can start to hoist the front somehow. And we just take it a little bit at a time.
There's bars for the door there, so the furnace is actually up against the door. It's not even pressing on the
Screen?
screen.
Okay. Well. about here, past the, like on the other side of the floats.
That's hilarious. And annoying because you're not going to be able to get it down.
Well, yeah, give me.
Hi guys.
Well, hello everyone.
So we did have success the other day. We got the gazebo into a good position, and we at least know what we're dealing with now.
Sure.
It's a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
You know, took a cold plunge, and we did have some damage to some of the screens. But we knew that that was likely going to be part of it, and we can fix that. That's no big deal. But you know, the main part is we know what we're dealing with now, and we have a solution.
Yeah. No. So yeah, like Kim said, we punched a couple holes through some screens. Thought it would have been much worse, but you know, all things considered, got away pretty unscathed. Mm-hmm. We went to the big city yesterday. Just love Princess Auto. Just so much fun. So many neat little things. Like, yeah, anyways, I digress. But we picked up a couple of runs of winch wire. We're going to use that to replace the rope that we've been using to secure the dock to the shore. That was always a temporary measure anyways, and I think the one type of rope we're using, I think it's cotton based. I think eventually it will rot anyways and snap. So we're using, you know, that steel braided galvanized winch wire that won't break. We also picked up a 1,000-pound capacity rope hoist. And so today, the big part of the work ahead of us is basically erecting like a crane of sorts. My idea is driving two 2x4s down into the mud, a couple feet away from the corner of the dock that we want to lift, and then we have a couple of cedar posts left over from our solar panel array project. And what I'm going to do is basically have you know, two 2x4s that are scabbed together. They're going to lean back a bit with a spot to receive the log, essentially the big cedar log. So I'll sit that so that it's suspended over the water from the shore where we want to lift up the corner. And then we got this great big awesome fishing hook. It's like a tow hook to go with the rope hoist. So I'm going to just basically hook it in the corner of the dock underneath where it's strongest, and then use the chain hoist, or sorry, the rope hoist to haul the dock up so that it's up onto the back barrels that we installed the other day. And just need to get it off the water enough so that I can comfortably get underneath with my power tools to screw in the additional blocking to sit atop the barrel, as well as those little curved pieces that I made, so that the weight of the dock sits across the barrel uniformly instead of just compressing that one spot.
Yeah. Initially, we thought that we were going to have to take it out of the water altogether, and we're realizing now that we don't. We just need it to be extra floaty.
Yeah, we even considered at one point we were kind of kicking rocks thinking we'd have to disassemble the whole thing, because really where we were struggling, I just could not think of any non-horrible muscle pulley way of getting that corner of the dock out. Like right now in the water, it'll float upright more or less until you get to the extent where the dock is now resting on the floats at the back, and you just don't have the human strength to push those things into the water to get it truly level. Yeah. So with the hoist, I'm hoping, because we have one barrel that hung on in the one corner, 3 across the back, if we tilt it up toward that back corner, so to speak, raise it about a foot off the surface of the water, that's all we really need. And then really everything else is kind of already in our wheelhouse. Like we've already done the work on the other 3 barrels, so it's just repeating that.
So in the end, I mean, this is going to be stronger than what we originally created. Obviously, this isn't the way that we wanted it to happen, but it is going to be more solid and better when we're done, so we're grateful for that. Yep. And then we can move on to hopefully the house build after that. Yeah,
it's the weather's warming up. All the snow is just about gone. The river rose about 6 or 7 inches yesterday, and checked this morning, it's receded again. I'm not sure if it's all the way back to where it was. I imagine it'll rise a little bit today, but there's hardly any snow left to melt, so it's been a very dry winter, in truth, right? Maybe had a cumulative, maybe a foot of snow, maybe a little more, maybe a foot and a half, all said and done. Never a foot and a half sitting on the ground at any one time, because the weather keeps warming up and melting it as we go. So that's kind of a blessing in a way. If we had the spring we had last year, that dock would be gone and out somewhere in the North Channel, because the water was probably 10 feet high. Well, when I say 10 feet, maybe 8 feet, legitimately 8 feet higher than it is right now. Yeah. Like it ran the banks. We had the beavers milling about in the yard, and all that. So anyways. So
it is what it is. We're moving forward, and luckily it's nowhere near as bad as we initially had thought, and even it's just a little bit of fixing.
Yeah, and even as bad as we thought, it's probably not even all that bad. But that's us. Anyways.
Yeah.
it in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right and make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know.
Why do you say that?
Because it's just gonna float. Like, it's not gonna be like before where I need you to hold it in place. It's just gonna be sitting there and it's gonna loop it underneath and snug it up. Yeah, you can take a rest. We're gonna rest tomorrow too. It's gonna be glorious. This has been a YouTube land. Ladies and gentlemen, how to do things the hardest way possible in 40,000 easy steps. Voilà. There.
And there she goes.